All right, guys, we are here with the Nissan Patrol Warrior, and well, as you can see, it's quite tough compared to the standard Patrol TI. But is it worth the $15,000 premium? That's what we're going to find out today, and I'm excited to show you. So let's pop the bonnet open, start with the all-important engine that's underneath the bonnet and powering this absolute beast of a car, and we'll then touch base on some of the little key points that Premcar have actually worked to customize this right here in Australia, with many of those components actually being made in Australia. So at the heart of this beast is a 5.6 litre V8 powerhouse. Now this is good for 298 kilowatts worth of power and 560 Newton meters worth of torque. And while it may not be a little bit torquier like some of the diesels that are on the market in some of the competitors that this is facing, this is also a very sweet sounding petrol V8. And it's also substantially cheaper than some of the diesel competitors. So that's a lot of diesel that you could buy, but with the money that you're saving, buys a lot of fun, joy, excitement, and petrol. Now, if you're wondering why it looks like it's sitting a little bit higher, that's where Premcar comes in. So they've actually lifted this car by 50 mil, and they've also widened the track by 40 mil, giving it some really good off-road stance and capabilities to heighten the already extremely capable platform that this Patrol is actually built on. So that in itself there, if you went and did that anywhere else, would be about $5,000 for a good quality 2-inch lift anywhere on the market. In fact, my old Land Cruiser, the Old Man Emu upgrade that I did, was just under $6,000. Yes, it was a GVM upgrade, but it was only a mild GVM upgrade. And talking about GVM upgrades, this has actually had a GVM upgrade as well, which increases the internal carrying capacity by 48 kilos. Front camera and front parking sensors are additions to the TI and the Patrol range in general in 2025 that will give you a 360-degree camera system to make off-roading and parking around bigger car parks very, very easy compared to my wonky parking right now where I'm parked across multiple bays. If you lower yourself down a little bit more, you'll see that there's a bit of red down the bottom and that red says Warrior, and that's because that's the custom bash plate that Premcar has designed for this car to help protect the underbody area when you are off-road, because this car is very much off-road focused and with a genuine off-road ability. Talking about the off-road bash plate, that there for most cars would be somewhere around $1,000. So we're at $6,000 out of that $15,000 price premium that the Warrior is. Let's see where else some of this money goes. Across to the side, we have these fender flares that go over the wheel arches that have just been designed to kind of cover up some of that additional pushed out stance that you have now with this car. Again, flares for a general car, cheapest on the market is probably going to be about $800, some really average tacky ones. Probably closer to $1,500 to $2,000 if you're going for some really good OEM quality style fender flares like these. If you're going for the bolt-on side pattern ones, you can probably buy those for $300 on Alibaba, but that's not what this has. So there you go. We're about, let's call it $7,000. We'll just label these at $1,000. Now at the front, you also get some bumper enhancements for the Warrior, including this Warrior branded corner piece just here. And my favorite part of the modifications that have been done is the tire choice. Yokohama, I am an absolute fan of these tires. If you've followed my channel for a long time, or you've even seen some of my builds in the past, I have had Yokohama tires on every car that I've built to go off-roading on since the Go15s came out. They're a really good compromise for off-road ability, for wet weather performance, but also for moderate mud work and definitely for sand work. Plus, because the tread pattern isn't too far spread apart for, kind of too much an aggressive mud terrain type tire, you get some really comfortable on-road performance, and you don't get a huge amount of noise driving down the highway. You actually get a comfortable car. Now, these Yokohama Go15s in the all-terrains, I believe these are about a 34-inch tire that have been put onto these. I would have to double check, but they are the light truck version as well, which is worth noting, which just means that this tread pattern gets pushed out a bit more and is a bit more kind of tough and blocked, and again, adds to the look, but also increases the actual ability of the tire. The sidewall is strengthened on the Yokohama Geolandar 15 light trucks, So you can air these down quite a lot. They'll take a lot of the weight that's above it on challenging off-road tracks while giving you the confidence that nothing's gonna puncture the side of the wall. But also as well, if you should get a puncture on the top, from personal experience with my Hilux a few cars ago, I had a puncture in there. I had a nail or screw, I can't remember exactly which one of the two it was, and it was right in the middle in between the two tire treads. But because it's such a well-built tire, every time I would deflate that tire to go off-road, I would forget that I needed to go and see a tire shop to get that puncture repaired. So 3.5 years later, when I traded that car in, it still had the said tire puncture, as well as the screw or the nail that was in there at the time. And the tire was just as good. My housemate has a Prado that has these tires also. He's nearing on 100,000 kilometers with that set of tires, and they are still all right. They're on their way out, but they're still all right. So again, Nissan has chosen, and Premcar have chosen, a really good tire choice for this car that will see you get really good performance, but also save you having to repair them and replace them quite frequently compared to other brands out there. And thank goodness they didn't go for the BF Goodrich KO2s, which are horrible in the wet. This tire here, all four corners, roughly around the same price as what mine were. You're gonna see yourself somewhere around 1,500 bucks. So somewhere around $1,500, we're now at 8.5 grand. Side step on the side, that is the same as a standard Patrol, but you see these side pipes down here. Now, you may be forgiven at thinking that these side pipes down here are actually the only exhaust. They're connected, so they're not just cosmetic, but they're part of the overall exhaust system, which still finishes at the back. It's just that this model has gone for a bimodal exhaust system. Now, at the time of researching online here in Australia, that was somewhere around $3,800, all the way up to $6,000 for a very average bimodal exhaust system for a Patrol, without fitment and installation. So all of a sudden, we're now somewhere around 12-ish grand, and maybe let's call it another $1,000 for fitment and labor of that particular exhaust. You're gonna be around $13,000. The amount that you're quickly adding with these accessories is starting to add up really, really quickly. So you can start seeing that there's a lot of value in the additional accessories that the Warrior is actually offering. Moving around to the back, you have some blacked out badges. Obviously on the side, you get the Warrior stickers, which I'm not particularly a fan of. I would personally probably take them off, but I would leave the black badges at the back. I think they look nice. They probably could have blacked out this area up here. I think that would have added a little bit of a look to it, but again, they've done a good job. Now, this bumper insert here is slightly different. And what I mean by that is you can see that there's 2 recovery points on either side. Now, these are 2 rated recovery points up to 3.5 ton each. And they are part of a custom tow bar that has been designed by Premcar to fit the full-size tire that's underneath there that matches the other tires on the sides. So you're getting a customized tow bar plus 2 built-in rated recovery points. And let's face it, if you're in a Patrol, chances are you've been leading, so you're only going to need to get either pulled out from the back or you're going to be pulling out people from the back. So I think the positioning choice for where these recovery points are is actually quite good. Again, a normal tow bar for Nissan would be about $1,000 to buy plus fitting. Somewhere around that mark, you're going to then spend another $500 to $1,000 on rated recovery points. You're basically at your $15,000. So you can see that that $15,000 price premium over the TI model is actually really, really well priced and geared towards people that are genuinely going to go off-road. It's delivering the value that someone is actually going to receive by having these parts added to them and not jacked up in terms of it's a limited edition model or a special run. So we're going to make it 30 grand above the other cars, for example. And I really like that about the approach Premcar and Nissan have taken, in that they've actually just offered a model based off the standard TI, but with features that you're actually going to use. And all of those parts and components, because they've been fitted by Premcar and by Nissan Australia, are covered for up to 10 years or 300,000 kilometers in factory warranty if you service at your Nissan dealership. If you don't, they're still covered for 5 years unlimited kilometer warranty that comes with the car. I think that's exceptional because most places you would go and get an exhaust fitted from, maybe a tow bar, maybe those special rims that have been designed for this car, or even the bash plate and the suspension, usually is between 1 year and 3 years of warranty. Nissan is giving you up to 10 years of peace of mind with these components. I think that's fantastic. Let's have a look at what you get inside the car. Now, moving through to the inside of the car, let's face it, nothing really changes. So if you've seen my TI review or you've watched another TI review, it's basically the same, but I'll touch on a couple of things that I really like about the 2025 update anyway. Soft touch materials at the top here. You get soft touch here, but it's like an Alcantara type material. And by having that nice feel there, it just changes how you feel when you've got your arm resting up against the windowsill on a long drive. It feels a bit different to having just that standard spongy plastic. So I think that's really nice. Again, a mixture of that there. Over here, you've got soft touch materials. Down the bottom, the hard-wearing plastics that we're all familiar with. So Nissan's put a bit of effort into making this car feel a lot more premium than perhaps some of its competitors, or at least matching some of its American competitors in the big truck markets. So good job there. Moving through to the inside, the seats, very comfortable, leather-scented seats with a cushioning type pattern, and they're also perforated. So on longer drives, you should be a little bit less sweaty by the time you get out. The one criticism I do have is the base of this seat. I can never get comfortable with, and it's always been an issue I've had with the Patrols over time. I want to know, if you have a Patrol or you previously have had a Patrol, do you find that the base of the seat is just a bit too flat and kind of just plain, that it doesn't actually end up giving you support? Or am I just maybe too chunky for this seat? Let me know. Steering wheel, I like how it tilts this way. You get your separate adjustment, but it still does do your reach adjustment. So you can find the perfect seating position for this and you'll be good to go. You have a digital display in the center with some analog dials on the outside. No heads-up display in this model, but you get a lot more information compared to the old orange screen that used to be in the previous models. Auto on and off headlights, wipers on the left, and come through to the middle because the biggest surprise and change in this model is actually sitting right here. In the center, there's a couple of things that have changed. So the one highlight that makes it feel different to the other standard Patrols with your Warrior is going to be this Warrior embossing that is hidden into the cloth material that's up on the dash. But the rest, massive 12.3-inch color touch display, super responsive, really good for your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's wired and wireless, which is fantastic. And it's finally the much needed upgrade that the Patrol needed this whole time. Obviously that's not exclusive to the Warrior, but if you are considering a previous spec Warrior and a new one, honestly, I think this is the way to go. The previous update where you had a screen down here for your Apple CarPlay was laggy. It was poor quality. The audio sounded horrendous every time I tried using Bluetooth calling. And it just wasn't nice as an experience for the price of this car. This car now makes it an incredibly difficult proposition for someone to choose a car outside of the Patrol family, particularly a Patrol Warrior, if you are looking to use it off-road, with the value that's brought into it compared to other key players in the market. So if you are in the market to buy a Patrol, let me know if you would consider this as the winner between what you were looking at now that the interior is updated, or is it still lacking something that has made you choose one of its competitors? While we're touching on the point of Patrols, if you are in the market to buy a Patrol in Queensland or Western Australia, we now have the ability to help you find and source a car and get a great deal compared to what you can get out there yourself most of the time. So make sure you send a DM or leave us a comment in the comment section. We're more than happy to try to help you find a car as part of our new car sourcing service that is available. Back to the review. Dual zone climate control settings just here. You can also have a separate button there that will control the rear climate control, which is fantastic. And I love how you've got knobs and actual dials so that you can quickly change things without having to go into a digital display, like a lot of other cars that are coming into the market recently that, you know, just make it really difficult to turn the aircon up or down. Like, shouldn't be the hardest thing ever, should just be right there. Now, when you open this, I keep going to press this because I feel like it should be sprung, but in true four-wheel drive nature, I think this design is actually better. It's a button that just releases down here. But your wireless charging pad is just there. A 12-volt outlet for charging is located there, and it's a hidden paddle. It does have a gloss black finish to it, which I'm not a huge fan of gloss black in general, but given how good a job Nissan has done with the rest of this car, I think we can probably let that slide this time. Down the bottom here is a blank panel. If you wanted to put spotlights or any other auxiliary things in there, you could use that. USB-C and USB-A outlets, and what I love about this is Nissan has chosen to allow both of those to be able to plug in when you're connecting your Apple CarPlay or your Android Auto. There's a lot of other brands that will offer a USB-C plug for fast charging, but a USB-A plug to actually connect to the car infotainment, which is really annoying if you're only carrying a USB-C cord, or in this case, if you're carrying a USB-A and you needed a USB-C. So giving you two options, really, really thoughtful. More gloss black down here. Again, this is one of the things I just don't like. If I was an owner buying one of these cars, and particularly because you're going to be around sand that's going to scratch this up really easily, I would consider using a protective film to cover that up so that you don't end up with a lot of scratches, or wrap it with something. Cup holders underneath there. Your four-wheel drive control buttons all here, including your multi-terrain assist and your diff locks. And this joystick here / toggle is what controls the menu at the top here. Massive center armrest console that pops open. There is a tray in there. And as you can see, you get quite a reasonable amount of headroom and a lot of width. So even as a chunky guy at 5'10", still a very comfortable position. Now let's jump in the back and see how much room is in the back. Now, with the Patrol in the back, well, you're gonna have a ton of room, and you can stretch out, you can go on cruises and really like it. You can even kind of lean quite a bit compared to the more upright position of the seats to the left of me to really enjoy those longer drives. Now, unfortunately, if you're watching this and considering buying a Patrol, you're gonna be the one driving, so you won't be relaxing in the back, you'll be the one driving in the front, and your driving position won't be impacted. That's actually where I would sit at 5'10". I'm in the back, and again, if you hadn't figured it out by what I just said, I'm still 5'10" in the back. So that's how much space I have behind me. So if you've got growing kids, maybe they're a lot longer, or maybe just really large, you'll have plenty of space. Plenty of headroom as well. You've got a center console that opens in both directions, USB outlets just here for charging, plus your aircon controls just there, and a couple of seat back pockets just there. As you would have seen on the ground, we have carpet floor mats in this particular car. If you're four-wheel driving, you might want rubber or fully molded TPE floor mats. This is where the team at carscaravanscamping.com.au come in handy. They've got a full range of genuine Nissan accessories available for you to purchase. And if you use our discount code, which is ROADTRIP, you get 10% off the entire store. So any Nissan accessories that you need for genuine items, or even some aftermarket items for all different brands, you can save some really good money by heading to carscaravanscamping.com.au. Now, back to this review. In the back here, center armrest drops down and you get some cup holders just here that, look, in all honesty, they're a little bit shallow and they don't really inspire confidence, but if you had bottles to hold for a child, they probably work a bit better. However, if this was my car, no one would be drinking in the back of the car anyway, particularly off-roading. The back seat itself has ISOFIX points just on the outer two seats, and you also have the child restraint points directly behind as well. So when you open that up, the child restraint point is just here. So if you don't see it directly behind the back seat, don't worry. It literally is just this little gap just here. Popping that seat back down, you can see that it's quite flexible and really easy to use. But how much space is in the third row? Well, if you have a look at my TI review, and we'll insert some functional footage right here to save me having to jump in and out of the back, that's how much space there is in the back of a TI. And all Patrols. Let's have a look at the boot. Now, at the back of the Patrol, look, we've been here talking about the other stuff already, but inside is where the magic happens if you are going touring with the car or just going shopping. So for spatial context, that's a standard photography or camera backpack. You can fit at least 4 of those side by side lengthwise, slammed into the back there. So large suitcases, shopping, strollers, prams, if there's only 5 of you or less, you're gonna have so much space. If you're going touring and you want drawers in the back with fridges and all sorts of other like setups, again, so much space to be able to use this for whatever you want. However, if you do need kids in the back, this is where it's still quite a magical experience. Now, if you will have someone in the back seats, where it really, really works quite nicely is that there's this much space behind that seat being upright. If you do this at full tilt, that is how much space is still left here. So you'd still be able to slide in a very compact pram, maybe some backpacks. But if you had it upright a bit more, and if you've got kids in the back, you probably can actually do that, you're gonna be able to fit quite a large pram potentially on its side with that seat up. So that's a lot of space that's there and a lot of usable space. There's a 12-volt socket just here for whatever you want to plug into, some cargo tie-down points left, right, and center around the boot. And for parents, you also have a top tether behind the seat if you want to plug in a child booster seat. There's no ISOFIX points in that 3rd row, however, so it's just a top tether that's located just on that top right-hand side. But that's how much space you get. I actually think that's fantastic and really, really good value for money for the average person going for a drive on a weekend to work, touring around the country. This has got not only enough power to get you going, it's comfortable, it's got plenty of off-road ability thanks to the team at Premcar with the Warrior setup, but internally, it has so much space for a growing family of any size and capacity or any setup that you might want to have. So there you have it, guys. That is the Nissan Patrol Warrior. That's my take on the car. I want to know, do you think I'm right or do you think I'm wrong? Let me know in the comments section. Either way, is there a better car than this that you would buy for the money that delivers the bang for buck that you're getting here? And has Premcar and Nissan done a good job with those modifications for that $15,000 increase? Or do you see that maybe they're charging a bit too much and it's not that great value? And are you surprised, if you do think it's great value, that they've also managed to cover it for up to 10 years with the warranty as part of those modifications? So let me know. Until next time, thank you for watching and look forward to the next video. Please like and subscribe, because this greatly helps this independent channel continue to get access to cars and actually deliver more and more reviews.